Hey everyone, welcome back to HD Reddit Reads, and today's topic is going to be, what's the strangest thing you've been caught doing? Let's get into it. When I bought my first pair of night vision goggles, I had them delivered to the TV station I worked at, not trusting my neighbors to leave my crap alone. So I took a break and tried them out in the only truly dark room I could find, the men's room. A coworker came in, flicked on the lights, and was startled to find me in the middle of a room, blinded by the sudden flash of normal light, brushing my teeth in the pitch dark with night vision goggles. I had to go talk to HR about it. He was freaked out. As a pet sitter, sometimes you get lonely when the majority of your interactions are with animals. So, to combat this, I sometimes pretend to be the inner voice of whatever dog I'm walking, responding out loud to whatever they're sniffing or whatever grabs their attention. Each dog has his/her own weird voice as well. More than once people have walked around a corner to hear me doing this. One morning I woke up strangely early, around 5 or 6, without an alarm. I was bored and proceeded to lift up my top mattress and just lay between the bottom and top ones. Mom walked in extremely confused. I couldn't really explain. I didn't know what I was doing myself. She asked if I needed help. Yes, I meant box spring. I'm actually so stupid, sorry. Edits. I was 12 when this occurred. I was in standstill traffic, i.e., car had been turned off, people were loitering outside of their cars, and I had a baby squirrel that I was hand feeding in my car. I fed it some puppy milk formula from a bottle, looked up and realized I had an audience of about 20 people gawking at me. Running in on all fours up the stairs in underwear. Didn't realize my best friend had already come over, and I ran into him at dick level. Oh man. So I must have been about 12. I was in the car with my mom. To set the scene, it was a 3-row soccer mom van, and I was in the second row behind the passenger seat with my mom driving. Well, since I was 12, I got my random hormone boner. Strange and awkward enough, right? Well, I decided that I would pretend I was driving and that my boner was the stick shift. Mom caught me. It was 3 a.m., and 15-year-old me was taking a dump, and I got a bloody nose. Now for context, I get really bad nosebleeds, and usually just keep my head up and it goes away. Well, I was bored, so I thought, what if I just keep my head down and let it drip? I know, very stupid. Blood was all over the floor. I had every intent just to clean it up with tissues and flush it. No evidence of my little experiment. What I didn't know was that my mom was actually awake and was waiting for me to finish in the toilet for her turn. I didn't lock the door because it was 3 a.m. and I didn't think I needed to. Well, she opens the door. Semen Demon 16, why are you taking so... She sees the blood, starts freaking the F out, thinks I'm either dead or dying. I start yelling, trying to explain myself. Mom starts crying, thinking she's gonna lose her son. My sister walks out of her room from the crying and yelling, sees the blood, freaks the F out as well. After a bit of panic, I eventually explained my stupid experiment. I cleaned it up and we all went to bed, but I don't think anyone slept after the traumatic experience. When I was around 10 years old, I was getting curious about sex, so I decided to look it up in the dictionary. Wouldn't you know it, my ultra-conservative mother walks into the room, so I try to play it off like I was looking up the Haida Native American tribe. She called me out for being in the S's, but I had doubled down and pretended I was possibly dyslexic. What a tangled web I wove. This reminds me of all the doll orgies I would host. I remember once my mom unexpectedly walked in, so I hurriedly sat on a pile of naked, pointy Barbies and Kens as if that would hide the obvious. This isn't me, but this story is so weird. My grandma was once caught by a UPS driver in the process of biting her toenails. She was in the sunroom with the screen door open, and the guy walked up to the door and witnessed that. R.I.P. Granny, you weirdo. Had a coworker that was working at a customer site. He had a creepy little crush on one of the women that worked there, but it was apparently innocent enough that no one really cared. Till one day, the woman came back from lunch and saw him pick up the cushion from her chair and sniff it. He was asked to leave. A coworker caught me sniffing her chair. I was using it for a meeting since she was supposed to be out for the day, and her cube was right beside the conference room. I spilled coffee on it and I cleaned it well since she was in that cube farthest from the break room since she hated the smell of coffee, so I cleaned it well. She came in to get something and got a good laugh from catching me. Arguing with myself. Well, not myself. The actual person just wasn't there. So I was just standing in the mirror, with animated facial expressions and gestures, lips moving but with no sound. I now reserve these hypothetical arguments for the shower when I am home alone. 1. I was like 13 or 14 in my room alone, my window wide open, when I started to wonder if I'd ever gotten kissed, what the other person would be seeing from their perspective. So I went up to my closet, which had those floor-length mirrors, and I started kissing the mirror, opening my eyes every once in a while to see if I looked at all attractive doing this. One of those times I opened my eyes, I saw my brother outside my wide-open window through the mirror looking at me with such a confused look on his face. I screamed and fell to the floor and hid in my room for a while. 2. I was a kid and creeped out by my cousin's creepy doll. One morning, me and the doll were alone in the room, and I grabbed the doll and started shaking it and yelling at it, saying that I knew it could talk. My cousin walked in and was like, "What are you doing?" And I brought the doll close to me and caressed it, and I said, "I was just kidding." She kept the doll away from me after that. In 3rd grade, I went to the bathroom, and thinking I was alone, put my hands against the wall, leaned forward, and let out a long, gigantic fart. Afterwards, I let out the nice big sigh of relief and pleasure. I turned around and see some other kids had come in as I was releasing the massive fart. Did not look them in the eyes as I left. Edit, just to clarify due to comments, it's not the fart that was strange, no matter how long it may have been. It's the hands against the wall, prepping my body to let it rip, and moaning, "Ah," afterwards. Walking across the road to the dumpster with a bag of trash. One arm pulled into the hoodie, flapping it like a wing, and slowly moving forward while going in circles, saying to myself, flying in circles, flying in circles. Realizing that I was not circling in the right direction for the wing I had, reversing to circle opposite-wise, saying flying in circles the wrong way. Come back inside and find that my whole family had been watching me. I was once caught by an ex-girlfriend playing her cat like a banjo. I had both of Slushy's front paws in my hand and was strumming on his tummy. The cat was purring so loud it made her come to see what was going on. It was a long, awkward pause followed by, "Are you playing my cat?" Was at the drive-thru at Wendy's and had exact change. As I was switching the money from one hand to another, the quarter slipped in between my legs and I went to grab it, but it slipped down further and the guy comes to the window as I have one hand full with cash and the other hand in between my legs trying to grab the other quarter. He looked at me and said, "I'm not even gonna ask," and I just said, "The quarter fell between my legs. I had the exact change." I got it and handed it to him, pulled up to the next window to get my food, and it set in what he thought he saw me doing. So embarrassing. One time my girlfriend and I had just left the house. She then remembered she needed something and went back in. Now, our house, Golders Green, London, was semi-detached with the neighbor's house. The neighbor's motorbike was kind of in our shared front yard. Since I was waiting for my girlfriend, I decided to sit on the motorbike. I heard the front door of the house close behind me, so trying to be funny for my girlfriend, I leaned over the tank of the motorbike and started pretending to rev the throttle and making vroom vroom motorbike noises, like really getting into it. I didn't hear any laughing, so I turned around and it was actually my neighbor standing there with his "what the F" look on his face. I was called in to assist my wife with putting together a friend's baby shower when her helper bailed at the last minute. My job was to prep the dirty diaper game, which if you've not heard of it, it's played like this. An assortment of name-branded candy bars and chocolates are unwrapped and then mushed into a diaper so as to resemble a baby's dirty diaper. The game participants then assess the contents of each dirty diaper and have to guess at what candy bar might be lurking within. Whoever has the most correct answers wins. Because I was called in at last minute, I had to complete the task while at work. So there I was in my office, 15 or so diapers lying open on my desk, sleeves rolled up, hurriedly rolling what appeared to be a gooey, nutty turd in my hands. When my boss walks in, we make eye contact. He glances at my work, looks at me as though I am dangerously unstable, then slowly steps out of the office without saying a word. We've never spoken of it. I picked up a pizza, was super excited to eat it, so I put it in the passenger seat and said something along the lines of, "I'm gonna take you home and F you up." Hyping myself and the pizza up, of course. I then saw that my window and the window of the next car was open. A woman watched and heard me talk dirty to a pizza. Another time I accidentally made eye contact with a woman while I was licking my lips and taking a sip of an Arizona tea, and she looked extremely offended by that. That was all in her head though. I'm still in denial. Thank you for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing. It'll be greatly appreciated. I'll be posting Monday through Friday, and if you want to visit the original threads, I'll link them in the description. And that's it. See ya.